I'm Sarah Vedeler and I'm happy to be back with month 8 of the Quilt Show's Block of the Month quilt for 2012. This month we're going to be working on the last 3 of the 9 applique blocks. That's this one right here. You're going to use the exact same methods that you've been using for the previous 2 months, whichever one is your favorite. What I want to tell you about this month is how we're going to set these wide-angled blocks into position in the quilt. I've got here a scale model, so the green is representing the diamond blocks here. I've got my 2 squares representing the star blocks, one on either side, and we're going to set in this pink block. It's going to sit right in there. Now that's actually going to be pretty much the same as we did a few months ago, but before we did it with a square block. This time we've got the wider angled block, so I wanted to just run through this process again. The first thing that I want to show you is that we didn't stitch all the way to the edge here, so I have a point and I can eliminate some bulk by snipping that point right off. Got my scissors cut there. Snip that point right off, and that's going to eliminate a whole bunch of bulk right here in this seam. Now I'm going to flip this back again. Now I can take this piece and that's going to sit exactly on that seam line. I'm going to take a couple of pins. Remember that we have a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here, and we're going to start stitching 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the fabric. I'm going to put a pin right here on the intersection, and then you can see here I could go onto the back side of this stabilizer, or I can just guide this pin right through the point of the green diamond, and hopefully that will end up right on the point behind. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end of the seam. I'm going to pop the pin right through the point, right through the intersection, and I'm going to guide the point right through here. There we go. Now I can use a couple more pins to hold this in place. So I've brought the fabric over to the machine and I've got it underneath the presser foot. I can put the presser foot down. I'm actually going to use my knee lift a little bit here to raise the foot up so I can remove that pin. And I'm going to use the wheel on the machine to put the needle exactly where I want it in the corner or on that intersection. I'm going to take 2 stitches forward and I'm going to do 2 stitches back, and now I'm going to do some forward stitching. Let's whip that pin out. Bring that pin out, and I'm going to stitch all the way up to that point. When I get to that point, I'm going to do a couple more back stitches. So now that we're done stitching, I'm going to pop over here, and I have one that I did earlier. We're going to press the seam towards the pink block that we've just added. The next bit we're going to fold, and we're going to just wiggle that little corner out there. That should be nice and aligned around the point that we want it to be. So we just need to use 1 pin at the other end, line the edges up, put a couple more pins in. We're going to pop back over to the sewing machine and stitch. I'm going to take a couple of stitches forward, going to take a couple of stitches back, keep stitching right down to the end. Stitch right up to the point, going really slow here. Reverse couple of back stitches. All done. Here's the one that I stitched earlier. We're going to open this up and press the seam towards the pink block, and there you have a perfect Y seam. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun putting your quilts together. We're way past halfway here. Your quilt should really be looking like it's quite impressive by now. Next month we're going to be looking at some quilting ideas, so until then, have fun.